Doctors, what's one time your patient gave you medical advice? I had a patient with the worst eating habits known to mankind that I was getting ready to start planning his funeral. He always ate fast food, rewarded himself with a sweet treat after every meal, and drank after every minor inconvenience in his life. As you can imagine, he was severely overweight, but his eating habits did more than make him gain weight. He said he was experiencing fatigue even though he never did anything, was always tired in the afternoon and had a bad case of brain fog. He was always losing concentration and it was affecting his job, and his mood was always bad, so he was hurting his relationships with people. Though, the huge issue was that he was experiencing pain in the upper right side of his abdomen. I recognized the symptoms immediately and concluded that he had a fatty liver. Since 25% of Americans have fatty liver disease, I've been seeing many patients with the same symptoms lately. This happens because the majority of people eat fried and processed foods and drink too much alcohol. Fast food restaurants are always filled to the brim even though people know that our bodies can't withstand large quantities of processed foods. It is unavoidable that those foods will damage your body's vital organs and create diseases like type 2 diabetes and cancer that you wouldn't have if you just ate right. But first, all those unhealthy foods will convert to fat and choke the liver. Some people aren't even aware that what they eat will always have an effect on their liver. In fact, most people don't even know that their liver is slowly dying until it's too late, since the disease is a silent killer. So next time you're thinking of getting anything from a fast food restaurant, think about how all that grease will build up on your liver and choke it. It might taste good in the moment, but you and your liver will grow in size, and it would be extremely difficult to lose the weight on both ends. Luckily, there is a way to check if you have a fatty liver at home, and it's by doing something called the waist to height ratio. You have to measure the circumference around your waist, right at the level of your belly button. If that measurement is more than half of your height, there's a pretty good risk that you have a fatty liver. The best numbers are closer to 0.4 to 0.45, but 0.5 is the level at which you are at risk. Unfortunately, the damage had already been done for my patient, and based on his symptoms, I could only assume that his fatty liver was already cutting oxygen from the brain. I ran other tests to make sure he actually had a fatty liver, and when I saw that he did, I prescribed him medication to reduce the amount of fat in his liver. I also explicitly told him to change his lifestyle to a much healthier one. 3 months later, my patient came back and I tested him to see the results of the medication. I noticed that his fatigue disappeared just by the way he carried himself. He didn't look tired or on the verge of falling asleep. He seemed like he had energy now, and I assumed he also got the motivation to go to the gym because he lost some weight. It wasn't a huge weight loss since it's harder for people with fatty liver to lose weight, but if he continued he would definitely get to a healthier weight. My patient also told me that his brain fog went away, so he was concentrating a lot better at work. He wasn't getting yelled at for forgetting to do something or falling asleep on the job. Not being screamed at every day also improved his mood, and it let him interact more with people. I asked him if he had changed his diet like I suggested, but he said no, since he would genuinely tweak if he didn't have a sweet treat. But he started drinking in moderation now and he didn't feel like his liver was going to burst. This surprised me because he's not supposed to be drinking at all, and if he did, he would feel a throbbing or stabbing pain that would be unbearable to live with. When I got the result on his liver, I noticed that the weight and fat on his liver had significantly decreased. I had never seen results like his before, but I congratulated and told him I was glad the medication had worked exceptionally well. That's when he said something that made my jaw drop. He hadn't taken the medication I prescribed. In reality, he ignored it and said he was taking an everyday liver vitamin every morning instead. I admitted that I had never come across that medication before, and he said all the results I saw from him today were because of the everyday liver vitamin. That left me stumped. It explained why I had never seen this kind of result in a patient with a fatty liver, especially not in 3 months. It actually made me curious enough to try out the everyday liver vitamin for myself. My liver wasn't damaged, but it's always good to do something that will prevent a very common disease. It was also supposed to help to detox the body and cleanse the liver, so it would do more good for me to use the vitamin. That actually explained how my patient was healthy despite still eating junk food. I took 2 capsules daily in the morning, and just a week later, I woke up at 6 a.m. without any issues. I usually had to snooze my alarm every 5 minutes before I was ready to get up. Honestly, it would put a dent in my day, and not getting proper sleep would make me lose focus at work sometimes. And as a doctor, that cannot happen. But after that week, I just kept waking up energized, and by the time I got to work, my brain was free of any distractions. Everything became clearer to me, as if my brain had cleaned itself of any disturbance. Another 2 weeks passed and I saw that even though I indulged in some junk food and alcohol every once in a while, there was no damage being done to my liver, which meant the everyday liver vitamin was counteracting all the crap that went into my body, and cleansing it so that I could stay healthy. I took it for 12 weeks like it said on the bottle, and my body became stronger and my mind sharper. Honestly, I'll give my patients with fatty liver the everyday liver vitamin before prescribing anything else, since it helps cleanse the system of the junk food you consume. I also think we should all be taking something like this every day, because of all the junk food we consume on a daily basis. And it's not like we are going to stop consuming rat-infused Chinese food anytime soon.